fans as a heel down there, I heard some wild stories. The
Yeah, and they
people
were
are
all true,
crazy.
man. They were wild. Oklahoma had Danny Hodge,
Hmm.
who was on the scene. And, Danny, a great athlete, and a great amateur, and strong individual. And
As a
the
heel
fans-
manager, you must.
Oh man, I'm telling you, as a heel manager, gosh, the riots were horrifying.
Uh-huh.
And one in particular, Terry wrestled Danny Hodge in his hometown, Norman, Oklahoma, I think it was. I could be wrong.
Where the
One of
university is,
schools that he
right.
went to. He was like a god there, and it got out of hand, and the chairs started flying, and people started coming, and it was just fight for your life, literally trying to fight them off. And I'll never forget this one guy. I seen him running at me, and I'm fighting, and I see this one guy run, and I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna take this guy out, because I see him, he don't know I see him. And right when I go to spin to nail him, his baseball slides between my feet underneath the ring. Well, now he's got my feet together, he's underneath the ring, and I can't move.
Right.
Well, number one rule in any situation like that, if anybody knows anything about anything, is you don't go down. If you go down, you're probably dead.
You're done.
So not going down was on my mind. To make a long story short, this guy made one mistake. He heard all the commotion, the chairs were flying, the people were screaming. He stuck his head out to take a look. And when he did, not even thinking, I took my this thumb, and I drove it down into his eye socket and felt his brains. When I did that, of course, he let out this scream from hell and immediately let me go, which was the purpose of that. And I rolled in the ring, and the fight continued. And we fought all the way back to the dressing room, fought for our life. Not only in Norman, but, the stories you hear, and I heard the story about the guy that got cut all the way around with a box cutter. He was wrestling Hodge. I think it was Hodge's dad
Really?
was in the audience.
Never heard that.
It was before my time a little bit, a few years before my time. But the guy actually came in and walked around the front of the guy, and the guy's guts was in his hands.
Ugh.
Another manager had his either his throat or his bicep cut.
Ow.
I mean, people were back then. Wrestling was a serious. Their heels and baby faces. They were true believers.
Yeah. When I worked for ECW, we had shows. Like New Orleans wasn't bad, but we would go down under home Thibodeau.
Yeah, I've been down
Sunday
there.
afternoon shows. Everybody's drunk at 1 o'clock. I was just a cameraman. I was getting pelted like full vodka bottles and stuff. I'm like, this is.
It was horrible back then. In
Yeah.
Wichita Falls, Texas, for once, a guy was hiding out behind the armory with a rifle, was going to shoot me. And somebody came in and said, "Hey, don't go out there because the guy's in the barn and he's going to shoot you." And sure enough, the police went out there and found the guy all camouflaged up out in the barn and was going to kill me. And there's the stories of the fans and the riots. It was horrible.
That's an education, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Right.
Man, it sucked. But they weren't smart.
Right.
And which was the whole idea. That's why wrestling was wrestling back then.
Right.
I mean, wrestling back then, at any given night, a guy could get his ass whipped.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike today.